Hey peeps, June here. So our health minister just shared in the parliament today that there were 17.3k people have done this MyMinda mental health assessment in their My signature, and 23% of them are flagged potentially depressive, 15% are potentially being able to be diagnosed with anxiety disorder. Okay, so does it mean that if my signature MyMinda app there shows that, oh, you have got high risk of depression, does it mean that I was diagnosed with depression? No, wrong, okay? Mental health assessment doesn't equate to mental health disorder. A mental health disorder needs to go through a comprehensive mental health diagnosis. Who can do that? In Malaysia, I'm talking specifically about Malaysia because in elsewhere there are other professionals that are trained to do it. Okay, but in Malaysia, only clinical psychologists or psychiatrists are able to do mental health diagnosis. Okay, for counselors we do mental health screening. Okay, so if you want to go for a full mental health diagnosis, you need to go through a full clinical assessment, all right, either with clinical psychologist or with a psychiatrist. And the health minister said that living arrangement can affect mental health. That is true. Okay, how does it work? So because she didn't elaborate that in the parliament, right? So let me help her with it. So living condition and environment does affect our mental health. In what way? Okay, so what we learned from COVID was that our living spaces actually affect our mental health. So how big or how small your house is, it does affect our mental health. In what way? Because in a very confined space, let's say imagine this place, this area that you see in your screen is the size of my house, alright? This is only so big. And let's say I'm living with my parents. So three people living in such a small space, we are going to run into so many arguments because it's like, shut up, just shut up, why are you recording videos, this we don't have much spaces, and why are you always talking, it's so noisy, because we only have such a small living space. So everyone need to shut up and everyone need to be on their toes because we must not affect each other. All right, and then we are in such small spaces, like kind of like you are living in a jail. It's very it's very it's not a good place to live in. Okay, and imagine this. Okay, when there is a family, okay, over here, imagine that there is family violence and arguments over here. Okay, this family, we are coping with so many family violence and so many arguments. So when there is family violence and arguments, okay, what happened next is that people get emotionally disturbed. When people get emotionally disturbed, do they sleep well? Imagine there are so many things happening in this household. It's always arguing. It's always there's so many family violence going on. Are they able to sleep well? No. Okay, everyone will be on their toes. Or when they try to sleep, they feel so tense. They feel so stressed to even try to calm themselves to sleep. So when they are not able to sleep well, what happens next? They get more irritated. And when they got more irritated, it means that they are more likely to argue, more likely to fight. When they are more likely to fight, emotionally disturbed, poor sleep. So it goes into a cycle. Okay, see how living environment and living condition and all these kind of family violence arguments can do for the whole family. It actually, you see the whole thing is, it just perpetuates itself. It goes into a cycle, right? And look at what is happening in this family is that, does anyone in this family learn about emotion regulation? Or do they learn about emotion dysregulation? Dysregulation, DYS regulation. So the thing is, you see, no one is learning about emotion regulation here. Is that right? What is emotion regulation? Emotion regulation, it means that from a emotionally disturbed state, you are able to return back to a regulated state, a calm state, a kind of like stable state. Okay, emotion regulation. So one of the thing is you need to first know, okay, if one person, they can regulate themselves emotionally, they need to be able to introspectively understand what they are going on, what emotion they are having. Okay, after knowing what emotion you're having, the next thing is you can try to regulate, calm yourself down. Okay, you must first know. Okay, after you know it, only then you can calm it. Okay, of course, how do we reach from knowing to calming? That is, there are more things that can be shared lah. Okay, but over here I just want to bring out this concept of emotion regulation. when there is so much of tension, so much of violence going on, does anyone able to learn about emotion regulation? Why am I talking about emotion regulation? Because emotion regulation is such an important skill. If you don't have emotion regulation, you won't have good mental health. Okay, this is established. Okay, the cause and effect very, very, very clear. In literature, in research, we have known it very clear, crystal clear. All right, when you have poor emotion regulation, your mental health goodbye. Okay, and the other thing with this is that from my experience is that many Malaysians have low self-awareness about oneself's condition. All right, many of them, they are actually living in subpar mental health condition, but they don't know it. They are not even aware that they are actually living subpar mental health. It's nowhere near healthy, and they are just, it's like the water is over here and then they are like almost drowning, and then they said, oh, I'm actually very, very okay. Have you seen a meme before? Is that there is a dog sitting in a circle of fire, and it's like, okay, it's okay, it's all good, it's fine. The same thing. It's just so absurd. Like so many times when I do this family assessment with my clients, and they say that, oh, my family is good, they're good, okay, we are good, we are fine. But when I really probe into it, and I was like, oh my god, the family is under so much of tension, so much of argument, and then there is so much of things, so much of drama happening in the family, but they don't know it. They say that this is normal. And I'm like, okay, so this is also something for us Malaysians to learn about, is that we have very low knowledge about our mental health. This is what we call mental health insight. We are not really aware about our mental health conditions. Okay, we talk so much about what is emotion regulation and how living condition environment affect our mental health. So next, moving to how to solve it. Okay, to be frank, those people who have lower economic income, yes, they will face a lot of problem. All right, those who have lower socio-economic status or lower income, they will they are more likely to face more mental health problems. Why? Because when you have very low income, you face a lot of stresses. When you face a lot of stresses and you don't have resources to overcome it, of course you develop mental health problems. So one of the things for you, if you feel like I'm living subpar mental health conditions, is that try to think about, are you in a low skill and a low paying job? If yes, then I want you to think about, what is some skill that I can develop, right? Look at 3 years or 5 years down the road. What can I do? What skill can I develop that is needed by this market, so that I can transform myself from a low skill to a high skill worker? That is how you can earn money to go into a high skill, high pay job. Okay, so that is one of the things. Money does affect our mental health. Very important. Okay, the second solution that I have is, prevention is always better than cure. This applies to mental health services. So a lot of people, when they think about counseling or think about mental health services or treatment, therapy, they think that, oh, therapy, counseling is only for the crazy people. So sorry, it's not. Okay, counseling in fact is very helpful. It can help people to regain mental health, especially for those who haven't have a solid diagnosis. Alright, a lot of time, let's say you get this score in your my it says that your depression risk is like high or medium or low. Okay, so long as it's not zero lah, huh? Zero, then I think I don't know. When you think about yourself, okay, what is mental health? Is health an absence of disease, or does mental health mean that, when we are thriving in our life, that is mental health? So that's a question for you to answer. Yeah. So let's say, if you have some form of subpar mental health condition, let's say you are always thinking, you are always ruminating about, okay, so if this happens, then what next? When you are at work, but then you're always worrying about what is going to happen with your partner, with your children, or you're worrying about how to cope through the next month, because there are so few financial resources, or you feel just so tired to even go for work. you feel so unmotivated, you feel like, this is so, you are in such a despair because you just, no matter how hard you work, you just can't earn enough money to cope through all this hardship. So whatever that I've just mentioned, all are subpar mental health conditions. Okay, so what we can do with counseling is that we want to help you to work through all these problems. Okay, this whole episode I'm just really sharing as a registered counselor, a licensed counselor. Yeah, so through counseling, we're really helping you to develop more effective coping strategies with all these conditions that you're working with. Okay, and when you are not in the kind of like serious stage 4 cancer, this is just an analogy to help you to understand. Let's say, because many of time when we counselors, we see clients, they only come in when they are like stage 4 cancer. Then they come in and it's like at the brink of divorce, all right, this couple relationship at the brink of divorce, and they come in, hi, can you help me to save my relationship in one session? So sorry, cannot lah, this is impossible, okay? Why? Because it's like a lot of time people, they are coping with their issues, they sweep it under the rag, and then for like 5 years, 10 years, maybe this marriage has been there for like, let's say 5 years of problem, and then you wish, you expect that I can solve it within one session. Okay, how many hours are there in 5 years? Okay, you just calculate how many hours are there in 5 years, and then you want me to solve it in 1 hour, 1 hour to just conquer all these problems. So sorry, humans are not programmed in that way. We don't work in that way. We cannot, it's like kind of like you ask yourself to just forgive whatever thing that hurts you the most. Impossible, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so prevention is always better than cure. Let's say you come in when you are at stage 1 of cancer, or you are just developing some potential symptoms, potential risk, we notice some risk of you developing cancer, then you come in, then we can help you. Maybe you just need a few sessions, then that is good enough to help you to bolster, to really help support you so that you won't develop into cancer. But let's say if you are in stage 4 cancer already, then you will need much more session to just help you to stabilize, to prevent that cancer from even growing further, right? We need to first contain it, then only we start to eliminate it. Whereas over here, let's say you are stage 1 cancer, then it's more easier because this problem is still not very serious yet. We can take shorter time to just stabilize it, and then we can start intervention. We can really target things that to kill away the cancer cells and help you to regain health. And also very importantly in counseling is that after we eliminate all these problems, how do we support you so that you won't develop the same problem again? Okay, so that is what we do in counseling. It's much more than just for crazy people. And once again, a lot of Malaysians, they only come in when they are in stage 4 cancer. You can actually receive much more help and much cheaper, much affordable services when you are only at stage 1, or when you notice some risk factor for developing cancer in that way, mental health cancer in that way. Okay, so I hope this video helps to understand a bit more about mental health in Malaysia and what we can do about our mental health. Alright, thanks and peace out. Bye.